Welcome to No Intro Music Day. We're not gonna have any intro music
We're
here.
gonna have background music though.
Yeah. Apparently, we're gonna have some Dylan background music. But look, I was about to ask you a question. I stopped and pressed record.
Okay.
So let me ask you the question.
Okay.
All right. Do you do you believe in oh Lord, what's it called when you can communicate with one?
Telecommunication.
No, where you can communicate with one another without speaking to each other.
Telepathy.
Is that telepathy? I don't think that's telepathy. Uh,
I think it is.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what? I guess what I'm looking for then is psychic. What
Yeah.
about psychic abilities?
No.
Like where?
Some woman stands in a crowd and says, "I know your dad died of cancer, and the last thing he did was eat a red crayon."
Yeah,
Does the word red crayon mean anything to you?
that's a whole different. But you know what? You know what's funny? Here, the reason I am even asking this question, I hadn't. I guess I didn't prepare very well for that question. But the fact that, okay, look, the fact that I can make noises with my mouth that you then understand in your brain, isn't that a form of telepathy? Like, aren't we telepathically communicating in that sense? Like,
To understand
okay,
someone?
look, watch. I'll say this. I'll say a big round orange, a big juicy orange, an orange.
Mhm.
And what images are you coming up with in your brain?
I'm looking at a big, giant, juicy orange and then imagining eating it.
Right, and it's tasty, and so by just making noises
You
with
put
my
that
mouth,
in my head.
I put those images in your head. Okay, now it doesn't go in the reverse though. That's the only thing. Like, I think that we
Now
have
you
this
don't know exactly what I'm thinking, 'cause I could hate oranges and
exactly.
you would never know that.
And so there's not a two-way communication there. I think
I turned mine off.
was it telepathy?
Telepathy.
Telepathy suggests that not only can I put images in your head, but that I can also grab
Retrieve
images.
them.
And
Yes.
it doesn't work like that.
No.
So it's not true telepathy, but in a funny way it is. I mean, isn't communication weird? Like,
You could sign something. You could
Okay, look.
that game charades.
do,
Kind of the same thing.
do this. Wait. Do this.
Okay.
Try to communicate with me without using any English
Okay.
words. Try to tell me a sentence. Don't use any English words, but try to communicate something to me. Okay?
You want me to actually
Okay.
speak, but not use English words.
Take a second. Form a sentence, okay? Any random sentence must be at least 6 characters long, okay? Six words long. Come up with a sentence, and then figure out a way to communicate that to me. Don't use any English words.
Okay, but that's all I know is English words.
I know, but
So sounds.
I'm putting you on this. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And I'm supposed to tell you something, and
Oh,
you're gonna
or-
see.
or
I'm gonna
maybe-
just look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at you, and if you do what I'm in my brain willing you to do, then we share telepathy.
Okay.
Okay.
So
But
you're gonna
gonna
request
look
an
at you.
action from me.
I'm gonna request an action from you. You're gonna have to figure out what it is,
Okay.
and if you can. Okay, yeah. So go ahead. So I'm gonna look at you.
All right.
Okay. So 10 seconds. Here we go.
I just put my hand in the air because that's all I'm thinking of doing. Like, I'm going, what would she want me to do? But see, I'm not actually, like, I think that there's something to that. Something to what you're saying. Like, if you sat down with another human that you knew well.
Yeah, because I wanted another beer.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm going, I know my beer's almost empty, so I'm going to
Here's the two things I thought you would tell me to do. Either put my hand in the air or punch myself in the face.
I mean, you could have done either one of those.
But that I didn't receive any signals from you, like any. That's your point to go. Well, you just did.
But
Get me a
you
fucking
did.
beer.
I did give you a signal. You failed.
Get
Now
me a
get
fu-
me a fucking beer. So, but technically it worked because now I'm telling you, put it in your brain, and then look what happened.
Look. Now that's funny because I'm telling you, there is something to that. There's something to the idea that.
There's
I-
even suggestive
Look,
things that people
I
could say.
can
Like,
make-
I could suggest, like, oh, I'm really thirsty. I don't have any money.
Yeah.
You now know exactly what I'm getting at.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah. You know what? You know what's funny is, I'm 32 years old. I don't know how old I'm. 31, something like that.
You're 31.
So I've only recently spent enough time thinking about the term passive aggressive to understand what it really meant. Right? Do you know what passive aggressive means? When you hear it all the time. Oh, stop with your passive aggressive attempts at getting me to do this or whatever
Yeah.
whatever.
But I don't actually know what it means, no.
If you think it's really easy, I mean, it'll only take you 10 seconds to figure it out if you ever spend any time with it. But it's always been a phrase that I've been, it's been, it's been a popular phrase with me. I've always enjoyed that phrase, but I never even knew what it meant, Anyway, so it's
You're
like
just going around using it, not knowing what you're talking about?
in my truck, okay, I have
Okay.
doors that need to be locked manually.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay, so
When passengers...
no. So there's a passive aggressive way of me getting people to lock the door in my truck. And I do this all the time. I have a truck that has doors that need to be locked by humans and by your hand. Or I'll say everything else.
But what you're meaning.
But what
Like, you'll say, thanks for locking the door, knowing that I didn't do it.
Precisely.
Yes.
It's called passive aggressive.
Which reminds me all the time to lock
Like
the
the
door.
But it's a
But you
passive
could just
aggressive
say,
attempt.
like, look, lock the door.
Would you mind locking the door when you get out?
But I
Or-
don't like the way you say it like that, though, because then that makes me feel like I'm in trouble for something. So I would prefer you just be passive aggressive.
Well, that's just polite. I'm just being polite. Would you mind locking the door? Or
No, because even that sounds too much.
please lock the door.
No.
Please lock the door.
I don't
anyway.
like it being talked to that way because I know, no, but it makes me feel like there's a,
talking
but it
about?
makes me feel like there's a confrontation. It makes me feel like I've already fucked something up.
Oh, you appreciate the passive aggressive?
I totally appreciate it because it makes me feel better about
fucking
me. It makes me feel better because then I'm like, because then it's like well, he's not angry. But if you say, can you please lock the door? It makes me feel like for years you've been upset that I don't lock the door when I get out of your truck, and now you just can't take it anymore. And then I won't talk to you for a while, and then I'll never ride in your truck. But I like it when you're passive aggressive because you're like, hey, thanks for locking that truck, and then I'll grab your door really quick, open it, lock it, and then close it again.
Fucking dare you.
Totally locked.
Oh,
But people enjoy it.
yeah.
I think I would prefer, okay, like Mom said one time, like, do you ever wonder how all the cabinets in the house get closed? and I knew what she meant because there's no other reason why she would have said that to me other than the fact that I leave the cabinet doors open. But now when she said that, I know that it's something that needs to be taken care of. But the way she said it made me feel like we're still friends.
Yeah.
Whereas if she would say, can you please just make sure you close all the cabinets, it may make me feel like
Right.
I've been a bother.
You know, and it's funny. Once I realized what passive aggression is, once I've took the 10 seconds it takes to figure out what the term means, I realized that I do it a lot. Like my kids, like I'll tell my kids, hey, do you ever notice that every day you take off your shoes in the living room right in front of the coffee table, but every morning you wake up, they're in front of your bed? And my kids will look at me like, yeah.
Easter Bunny and stuff.
And then in their own way, they realize that either their mom or I have picked up their shoes and taken them to the room for them.
Right.
And I do that hoping that it sort of guilts them into not taking off their shoes and leaving them in the living room and taking them to the
Yeah, like
to the
I tell
bedroom.
Chloe all the time, I do want to be able to drink my own soda when I open it. Because she'll sit there and instead of getting up where we will both just be in the kitchen getting our food together, both perfectly capable of getting a drink, but for some reason she forgets to because the convenience of just drinking her sister's is right there.
Yeah.
So I'll tell her, I would love to just be able to drink my own soda. But I'll say it
All of it.
funny, the whole thing.
Like I bought 12 ounces of soda and I intend to drink 12 ounces of soda.
Right.
Something like that.
You can have a sip. If you're passing by and you're on your way out the door and you need a sip of soda before you leave, that's fine. I'm fine with sharing that much. But if we're at dinner and that's when I'm the thirstiest and you're going to drink all of my fucking soda
Keep
before
your hands
I
off my
can.
soda. Yeah.
So in a nice way. Or I'll say, you know how when you
Hey, you
text
know
me
that
a
Chloe
thousand
might listen to this podcast one day.
That's fine. Look, we have this conversation all the time. I just had this conversation with her earlier. I'm like, hey, you know how when it's really early in the morning and you text me 1,000 times and I don't respond, and then you come knocking at my door, scratching on it, peeking under the door, whispering and hollering. Notice how I don't say anything in return, and she's like, yeah, that's because I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So instead of telling her don't bother me, I say it in a way that she's like, look, maybe next time I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I shouldn't just, like, the first thing I do is go try to
Yeah,
wake
but I
them.
think that we should establish boundaries with people, though.
It's too harsh. It's
no,
too
no.
much.
Here's the thing. Look, when I realized that what passive aggression is, and that I was doing it, I'd like to take steps to not doing that. And I'm a big proponent of boundaries, of having, I talk about them all the time. I talk about having boundaries with people. Like, listen, at work, you're not allowed to touch me. You're not allowed to come in my space. You're not allowed, you know what I mean? Like,
Spit on you when you're talking.
I deal with a lot of people like that where I have to establish these boundaries with people. And I've only recently realized that the people closest to me, I often am passive aggressive or sarcastic to.
What's the fear of hurting their feelings? Because you don't know how someone's going to take
No,
something.
I don't give a shit about anybody's feelings.
You most certainly should.
Yeah, but I don't. Here's you listen.
Okay, that's going to be on our next podcast.
I don't handle people with kid gloves. I don't expect people to handle me with kid gloves.
Okay,
Look,
but just for the
I got
future,
big
though,
shoulders.
I
can take it.
I don't, though. Look at my shoulders. I don't. I am probably the most sensitive person in the... Like, if somebody were to tell me...
Yeah, but I'm
Christina,
real
the way
abrasive.
you're walking loud,
Yeah.
it would hurt my feelings.
You're walking
so
loud?
bad. It would hurt. It would just so hurt my feelings. Like,
Hey, did you ever turn your microphone back up?
yeah, no, I can hear me.
I
Yeah,
mean-
no, it's up at the same.
Okay.
Yeah, because I turned it down, but then he walked away, so I turned it back up. I was
Oh,
gonna
good,
be
good.
funny and turn yours all the way down, and so then you'd be talking to me and then wonder why I'm not listening, but I forgot to do it. But that would have been a joke. So,
Yeah.
but people when they address me like if I'm
I guess if I can hear you in my headphones, then you probably did turn your microphone volume
yeah,
back
you're not
up.
allowed to have any more drink. But no, I think being passive aggressive with people is good because
Wait. That was passive aggressive. What you just did there. You're not allowed to have anything else to drink. It's a insinuation that
you're too drunk.
that I've lost control of myself and that it's funny.
That's an asshole thing for me to do.
It's called passive.
But you know that I
passive
didn't mean
aggression. It's I know.
I was making a joke about people who
Yeah, who get
too
who
drunk
can't control
and need
themselves.
to be controlled.
Right.
I don't really believe it.
Yeah, you don't really believe
Okay,
that.
like for example, if somebody with really bad breath, which okay, let me just there's two things in this world that I can't stand.
Right.
Someone with bad breath in my face, which
Yeah.
happens all the time. Literally happens, especially Ethan. He'd get right in there.
Doesn't he always tell in that moment he always wants to tell you a story about Houston.
Yeah, no. Today,
One of those words that gives off a lot of air, like a
well, he just wanted to be in my face to
Can
tell me
I
all these wonderful things.
have
And I can't even
some
focus.
hamburgers.
Yes, he wants to get in my face, and it's before he's gone to bed, so he hasn't brushed his teeth yet, and he gets right there in my fucking face, and he wants to tell me all these things before we go to sleep.
He
but
was-
his breath is disgusting.
Who is Ethan for our listeners?
some kid that we found?
No. You didn't
No,
explain.
really, he's my son. Ethan's my son. He's
Her
5
young
years
son.
old.
Yeah, young.
He's
Yeah.
my only boy, and I because he's my last son, I try to baby him the most because I think I'm afraid of him growing up.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I let him with his terrible breath get in my face, and he wants to tell me all these sweet things, but literally one of the things that makes me, and it actually makes me angry. Like I get angry inside, like my chest gets like warm because I get so upset that his breath stinks so fucking bad, or anybody. But if it's not somebody I know, like the other night we were at work, some guy was talking to me, and he really wasn't that close to my face, but I guess he just had such powerful breathing that like I could smell all of his fucking nasty ass breath. And I had to like keep backing away just to avoid smelling it. That's one thing that bothers me. The other thing that bothers me is people sitting.
Are you afraid to tell somebody that they have bad breath?
I would have never told one person they had bad breath.
And you probably won't ever.
Ever. Because the thing
What
is,
is-
I
what
think
is
it would
it?
hurt their feelings. I think it would be like, I don't necessarily
You don't think
it
that they
hurt-
would correct the behavior and stop doing it?
I for sure think that. If somebody told me, Kris, you have bad breath, it would hurt my feelings. I'd probably cry while I was brushing my teeth, but I would fix it because I don't want to have bad breath when I'm talking to somebody. But
But then you save for that person. They understand and they realize in that moment that they have bad breath, and for the rest of their life, they'll be conscious of it, and they'll go through the rest of their life not breathing
yes,
their
because
bad
I
breath.
made them insecure. I couldn't do that to somebody.
Yeah,
Like-
it's not exactly insecure. It's just that nobody has ever told them
Like
that
if
they
somebody
have
has
bad
a
breath.
booger in their nose. stuff like that. I could never just say it to someone. I can't be that person that
I'm
just,
so abrasive because I'll just point it.
No,
like,
I know.
Like people, when I eat with people, if they have like a little mayonnaise on the corner of their
I won't
mouth or
tell 'em.
something, I'm like, hey, you got something on your mouth there. And most of the time they're appreciative. They're sort of like, oh, thanks, and they napkin it off or whatever.
Okay, but just don't be that way towards me.
But
Let
here's
me
the
have
thing.
mustard. I'll eventually
I
see it.
distinguish between people too, because some people are the kind of people who you see them eat and they're just gross.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't, like, okay, look, if you're eating and you're dripping mustard on your shirt and you have mayonnaise on your mouth and you don't wipe with a napkin but you wipe on your pant leg or something like that, there's no helping you. I can't.
That's me. That is me.
Because I'll sit across from you and I'd literally have to baby you through your entire meal. I'd have to say, not you, I don't mean you, I mean
No, but that is me.
the disgusting person that I'm having lunch across from. I'll have to say, please put your napkin in your lap. Please wipe your mouth because you got something on there.
And don't wipe your hands in your pants.
Don't wipe your hands on your pants. Eat with your mouth closed. Take your elbows off the table.
Well, I eat with my mouth closed, but it does always end up
And
on
listen,
closed.
I'm not saying that I have perfect table manners when I'm eating, but there are people who are disgusting like that, and I can distinguish between a person who's disgusting, who I can't help and can't, and another person who might otherwise be subjected to embarrassment because they have something on their mouth, and I need to say to them, hey, you've got something on your mouth. You're going to look ridiculous when we leave this restaurant if I don't tell you. So I say to myself, okay, this is the kind of person who I need to tell they have a booger in their nose or mayonnaise on their lip. You see the difference?
But I'll do it in like a fun way. Like if I ever saw, like, okay, Ethan, I'll just pick it out of his nose for him or wipe his face for him or whatever, or correct him because I don't want him to look gross when he's eating. But there are some people, like if I don't know them, like some people that I may or may not work with, when they eat, they
It sounds like
They
somebody
always-
you most assuredly do work with.
I mean, it could be. I can't put their face to it because all I was staring at was this thing in their tooth. But they every time they were talking to me, I swear it was so mean of me, and I remember feeling guilty about it later. But the whole time they were talking to me, I don't think I heard one thing they said because all I kept staring at was this big ass green leaf that was stuck in their tooth.
Do you hate eating beans? I hate eating beans because when I eat beans, there's always, you know how beans have a skin?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a bean skin that gets caught on.
Like your front teeth.
There's one of these big teeth over here on either side.
Look, I use the reflection
And it'll be
part
like-
of my.
It'll be like half an hour later. Look and listen to me. I floss after every single meal that I eat. I floss. You ever wonder who the guy is that flosses after every single meal that he eats in his entire life? You want to know who that guy is? This guy. I'm the guy.
Why?
Because I just do.
It's such a waste of time.
Look, check this out. Look,
If you have floss in your pocket,
look.
he has floss in his wallet.
Right there. I keep floss in my wallet because, and also my backpack. I got a container of floss in my backpack. But in a pinch, if you need floss and you're not around your backpack or your container of floss, well then I have floss in my wallet. All I do is
I just
spiral
put
up
water in my mouth and swivel it around and spit it back out.
And that's
It
sufficient.
gets the job done.
Sure.
It gets the job done. I have to. Well,
But I floss after every meal, but I still get
bean. Yeah.
the bean thing, and I'll notice it half an hour later, and I'll go, what was that? Have I been talking this whole time
You have.
with a bean on my,
You
my
absolutely
tooth?
have.
I don't
You
mean
absolutely
right now,
have.
you Nimrod.
No. But I'm saying, like, when you think that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
absolutely have. And,
and
then you think of all the people that you've talked to.
And why didn't one person say to me, you got a huge bean
Like, we don't even see
skin on your
teeth anymore. It just looks like gum.
People are so rude who don't tell you that.
It's not. They don't do it because they're rude. They're
They're
do it
rude.
because it's
It's
hard.
rude. It's rude to be a
hard
coward like that.
No, it's not. Because I get this every day, every single day. The one there's a couple conversations I can like guarantee will happen between me and my boyfriend, and one is I need to stop being so. I need to stop being so sensitive towards people,
Right.
like because I don't want to. I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. I don't
No,
want to.
we're all big boys and big girls. We'll get over it.
And there's a few people that because I've known them for so long or because they've always been this way towards me, I'm a little more, yeah, you know what, let me just go ahead and tell you this.
Yeah.
But for the most part, 99.9% of the people that I come in contact with, I just can't say those things to them. I can't hey, you got a booger in your nose. I'd be like, oh, whoopsie, and then I'll pick it out myself. I would rather just,
You're not gonna go touch somebody else's booger. That's disgusting.
but I'll like hand them a paper towel. I'm like, oh, I think you, and I'll just giggle and laugh and make it probably more awkward for them. But in my mind, I'm trying to be as gentle and nice as possible.
Hey, I heard earlier you were telling Dylan a ghost story.
Okay, listen. I'm not going to tell you this ghost story. There's a reason why I shared it with Dylan and not you. Does that,
What do you mean? What happened? What happened?
Because
Happened.
one, I don't want to get guillotined.
What happened?
What is it?
Guillotined.
Guillotined. I don't want to get guillotined. Which, for anybody that is listening and they want to know what that means, is I talk a lot, like a whole lot, but only around my family. That's it.
Let me ask you if you know this. Hang on a second.
Well, I'm just gonna keep talking.
Yeah,
I
go
talk
ahead.
a lot.
I'm gonna pull up
and
a term and see if you've ever heard.
You're interrupting me, and so I talk a lot, and so sometimes my brother doesn't want to
Have you ever
hear
heard?
me. And to be honest with you, that doesn't matter whether he wants to or not. Sometimes I just want him, even if he doesn't listen to me in my story, I don't care. I just want him to pretend he's listening. But he does this thing where when I start talking, he guillotines me, and he raises his hand in the air.
Read what you're seeing on this screen, and then read the definition.
Filibuster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A filibuster is a
Parliamentary.
whatever procedure where debate is extended, allowing one or more members to delay or entirely prevent a vote on a given proposal. It is sometimes referred to as talking out a bill and characterized as a form of obstruction in a legislature or other decision-making body. The English term filibuster is derived from Spanish filibustero, itself deriving originally from the look. What does it mean? Just fucking sum it up. 'Cause I'm trying to read it, so I'm not listening to anything I'm saying.
A filibuster is where you talk and talk and talk excessively, so that no one else may speak
That's not what I do.
during a conversation. I didn't say that's what you do.
What the fuck did you pull it up for?
I just asked you if you knew what the term filibuster meant.
Do you know what bitch pudding means?
That's funny.
But she filibusters alright.
Yeah, that's.
Dylan, you are not on this podcast.
Dylan said it, not me.
I am not a filibuster.
But I wanted to know what your.
What this
ghost
let
story
me be
was.
one. Okay, so anyways, the ghost. So we're at this house, and we are standing in the kitchen, and we're waiting for somebody to show up so that they can open up some of the blinds because we're not allowed to touch anything.
You're at what house?
Well, I can't. It's nobody's business.
Oh,
I don't want
okay.
people showing
But
them.
you're.
But I'm at work,
Oh,
and
okay.
we are waiting, and it's a place where like supposedly people have died, and other people have seen ghosts
Who's
and
waiting?
stuff like that. Me and Mom.
Oh,
we are
okay.
waiting for somebody to show up so they can open it up because
Alright,
we're not
wait,
allowed
wait,
to touch anything.
You're at work
With Mom.
with your mom. Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
with our mom, not mine.
Yeah.
And so, both of ours. We can share her if you want.
Awesome sauce.
And so, so anyway, so we're at work and we're waiting for this lady to show up so that we can have the windows open. And we're not actually like sitting there like in the kitchen specifically to wait for her. But Mom notices that there's a woman standing outside of the kitchen, and you can see her by these two little glass windows that are inside on the door. And all you see is the side of her face. It's the only thing I can see, and it's the only thing she can see. And she's like, I think the maid is here, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm going to go ask her if she can open up these things before the event gets started. And so she starts to walk out the door, and as soon as she's walking out the door, I can still see this lady standing there. She opens up the door, and she's like, I don't see anybody standing here. Like, where did she go? And it's like, I'm like a couple feet behind her, so I walk where she's at, and we're standing, and we both look each direction, which if somebody was just standing there, we would see if they had left in either direction, and nothing. There's nobody standing there. But then we hear this banging coming from the service stairs. So we're like, she must have just gone downstairs into the basement to get whatever. So we follow the sound all the way to the basement, and we open the door, and it's dark in there. Like there's one light on when you first walk in. Mom has to turn on the rest of the lights to see everything. We walk around the whole entire part of the basement, and it's mostly abandoned. There's just packing stuff in there, and nobody's in there. So we come back up, and we have no idea where this woman is. About an hour later, the actual maid shows up, gets there. So who we saw, because there was no other guest there, and it wasn't another person that
Were
was...
you guys there alone?
No, it was me, Mom, and 3 other people. 3 other people were there, and none of them were that woman. And it wasn't...
What did she look like?
She was a Mexican lady. She's just a Mexican lady, and she's not the same lady though that ended up showing up, which also happened to be a Mexican lady. But yeah, it was just kind of weird.
What did she look like? Just a Mexican lady's kind of.
She had a chubby face. I know she had one of those necks that. Well,
Okay.
she had no neck. Okay.
Yeah.
She had 0 neck.
Okay.
And then she had her hair pulled back. That's the only thing she looked like.
Kind of like long black hair, or
I don't know if it was long black hair because it was just pulled back like my hair right now, like it's kind of in a ponytail, so you can't. It's all I saw. I didn't even see how far her hair went down if it was in a ponytail.
How close were you to her?
I was probably, I would say about 10 feet because she was standing right outside the door and she was looking into a hallway, so I couldn't see her face on. She was turned to the side. Mom saw the same thing because she's like, oh, that must be the maid. I'm going to go ask her if she can open up the blinds. And as soon as Mom opened the door...
But hadn't Mom worked there before?
Mom's worked there several times.
But so wouldn't she know the lady who's the maid?
Well, no, because the lady that's the maid, the one that we know, I was talking to her just the other day when I was working there.
Okay, so wait, the lady who is the maid you do know.
I do know her.
And then there was
There's 2
some
of them.
strange lady in the house, and you
there
thought
was-
she was the maid.
And I thought because I thought they must have like maybe... At the time, I knew there was only 2, but when I saw her, I thought there had to have been 3.
When you saw the real maid, did you tell her you saw a ghost maid?
Yes.
And what'd she
she
say?
said, and then she goes about and she starts saying, that everybody says that they see an older woman or they see a child there. And that's, a little girl is what they say, but I don't. I mean, a lot of people say like they're at the mansion that if you look at the tile that leads right out from the kitchen, you'll see like little footsteps. I've never seen anything like that. You hear banging and stuff like that, but all that you can go. This is a very old house. It's
So
been
if
through
I
a lot."
if I call your mom right now and I ask her if she saw a ghost today, she will tell me matter of factly, 100% she saw.
Well,
a
no,
ghost.
she's not gonna say it because she's gonna say, because I kept telling her, I'm like, Mom, we saw ghosts, and she's just just laughs or whatever. But she was with me to experience it. That's all I can say.
I gotta get this story from her.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, well, she'll tell you
what
the
did
same
she
thing.
say? What did she say?
She'll tell you the exact same thing. We saw someone standing there. When we opened the door, nobody was standing there. We heard noises coming from the basement, so we went down there to
She
find
says
her.
that she saw a lady.
She will tell you she saw someone standing out there, and when she went to open
What
the
did
door,
this ghost? Did it look like an apparition, or
No,
did it look like a
full
human
person.
standing there?
looked like a person with light on their face that was reflecting from the lights above her. It didn't look like a ghost. It
Okay.
looked like a person standing there. Of course, like I said, all I could see is her head because the windows are so small and they're up high. But yeah, you should definitely ask Mom and tell her.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. You
'Kay.
didn't see a ghost. You saw somebody who was there. If you absolutely 100% certain
100%.
saw a person, then you saw a person. That's what happened. Okay, so
It's totally a ghost, though.
the other thing is your mind may have convinced you saw a person when in fact you didn't see a person at all.
Okay, I know what a face looks like, and I know the difference between a face, a refrigerator, a box, a garage, a car. I can tell the difference between all of those things.
Okay, so having
I
said
have
that,
been raised to use my brain.
I know, but well, so let's use it right now. Let's use it right now. Are you telling
That's
me?
hurtful.
As-
That wounded.
let's.
A little bit of me.
Okay, so
Hang on. It still hurts.
you're telling me right now that you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay. How come the ghost that you saw was a Mexican maid inside of this house? And okay, and I don't mean that. I don't mean only that. How come you didn't see a Mexican maid inside of that house, and also the 7,000 other people who have probably died in that area? I'm talking about, think about the eons that have gone on where
Yeah, of
people have
course.
existed on this land, in this area.
And I think people did die in that house because I think that house was actually used as
Fine.
a facility to.
Fine.
Yeah.
And many other people, many other people have died in that area.
Okay.
How come you didn't see any of those? How come you didn't see a naked Indian with a loincloth and a bow and arrow?
I don't know. That's the thing. If I was making it up,
How come you didn't see a pirate? We live on an island. How come you
course.
didn't see a pirate?
I could have seen a
Or a
pirate at some
buccaneer.
point and just took it for a real person.
Or, oh, you think that ghosts just walk around all the time and we see them everywhere?
Yeah. I do.
That's
think,
preposterous.
No, I don't think that really, but I do think that.
Well,
I think
if
that
that's
if a
not the case-
person's making it up, I think this is the way you can tell a person's making it
Okay,
up.
yeah. Because it always happens with them by
She's
themselves.
wearing a white dress and her hair is this and she's sad and
Yeah.
she's blah blah.
No,
I
no.
don't believe in any
You know
of those.
why? You know why ghosts are not real, and I don't believe any ghost stories? Because it always happens with one person in a quiet, dark room where their suspicions are already aroused and their mind plays tricks on them.
But
it never happens.
We weren't by ourselves. We were there with other people, and our minds weren't even going
Listen
there.
to me.
We were
If there
focused on something.
if there were ghosts would appear on a football field with 75,000 people in the stadium. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If ghosts were so abundant as people proclaim that they are,
We wouldn't just see them in haunted houses. Right.
exactly.
I get you.
You would see them everywhere.
But what I'm saying is that I
Is
know
that you
what
can't get
happened.
past the thought that perhaps your mind played tricks on you. Perhaps
How could my mind play tricks on me
because mine
and someone else?
because mine does it all the time. Listen,
But
look.
listen, she's the one who pointed it out.
I saw a phantom car the other day. I'm driving down the freeway.
'Kay.
Okay. I'm driving down the freeway, and there's a little white car behind me, and he's irritating the piss out of me because he's kind of close, and we're on an open highway, right? What I mean is, there's not much traffic. This guy has the option of going wherever he'd like on this freeway,
Of
you know,
course.
but he's right behind me. Like right behind me. I don't know why that's irritating to me, but it's sort of like, go pick your own
You
lane.
got all this other space. Go somewhere else.
And
Why
you-
you right on me?
Yeah, you
Right.
choose
I
to
know. That pissed me off too.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so he does. The guy moves over. He starts to move over to the right lane. And I'm watching him in my rearview mirror do this, right?
Okay.
I look back up at traffic. I look away from my rear view. I look back at the freeway, and then I look back up, and he's gone. It wasn't quick enough for him to even move out of my lane. My eyes weren't diverted from my rearview mirror even long enough
Right,
for him
because
to...
you're irritated with this guy, so you're watching him.
Yeah, for him to move out of my view, right?
Right.
So then I'm like, where the fuck did he go? And I look in my side view on my right-hand side, because he'll certainly be in the next lane over, right?
Of course.
And he wasn't. And then I look at my. I know. Here's what I'm getting at. If this were a ghost story, that'd be the thrilling part of the ghost story. Because then I look in my left.
Where did he go?
I looked at my left, and I looked at my right, and I looked at my rear view, and then I slowed down. And now I'm looking all around for this fucking white car.
Right, because you're tripped out.
Where could he have gone?
Right.
Where did this fucking car go?
Where did he go?
I have no idea. That's not the point. I never saw the car again.
What if it was a ghost car?
It wasn't a ghost car. The point is
But
that
if it was
Your mind
there...
always plays tricks on you.
The-
Let me give you a perfect
point-
example.
Okay, but if you were there
You
long
ever-
enough to see this car
I-
and
yeah.
to see all of that, then how can you sit there and say that it was your mind playing tricks on
because
you?
I know that car actually existed, and what probably happened was there was probably an exit back there somewhere where my eyes were diverted longer than I thought that they were. He exited the freeway before I had an opportunity to look for him. You know what I mean?
But I watched
But
Mom as she walked up to this lady.
My own mind, and I'm a smart guy. My own mind convinced me that car had vanished rather than what actually happened. What actually happened was this car just got off the freeway or slowed down or crashed. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something happened where that car wasn't there anymore. And there's a reasonable if there was a camera view of what actually happened, there's a totally reasonable explanation for that. I know that to be, but because I'm not unreasonable, because I can now go back and say, you know what I thought I saw wasn't what I actually saw. Do you know that they do these studies where they take people and put them in a lineup, or no, excuse me, they take you know how we do the criminal investigators do this thing where they get the victim of a crime and they put 8 or 9 people in a lineup and
that
they go
looks similar.
pick out the person who it was.
Yeah.
They almost always get it wrong. Like, so I don't mean that the actual crime and the actual victim and the actual this. What I mean is they did these mock simulations where they took a lady and they put her on a street corner and they had an accident that happened in front of her, and then 2 guys go walking by behind there. Somebody comes up to him and goes, "Hey, did you see that accident?" "Yes, I saw it." "Did you see the 2 guys that walked by back there?" "Yes, I saw those guys." Or they'll say, "Did you see anybody walk by back there?" The lady will say, "Yes, I saw somebody walk by." How many people did you see walk by? Who was it? What did they look like?
Right.
The lady will say, I saw 3 Mexican guys wearing basketball clothes walk by. When in fact, it was 2 white guys in a business suit.
Right.
Her perception, her recollection of that incident was so wrong. But her mind had convinced her, her memory had convinced her that it was actually accurate. She was saying, I know this matter-of-factly. And then they'll show her the videotape and she goes, that's not, like almost like she can't believe that's actually what happened.
Right.
But in the moment she goes, oh yeah. She sort of remembers that it wasn't two white guys in business suits, but
You ever
rather...
been sitting in your living room?
Yeah, I did that once.
You sit in your living room for a while, right? And someone walks in, like normal to the house or whatever, but you don't notice them, right? And eventually they'll come out of a back room or something, and you're like, wait, when the fuck did you come inside?
Yeah, you remember that one time you were...
They walked right past you.
But you just didn't notice it because it was so...
You just didn't fucking notice it.
Yeah.
You remember that one time I came
like they
into
literally
the garage?
just walked. They
Right,
had
and
to
then
have
you're
walked
like- and then
almost
you're
in
like-
front of you.
What?
There was
When
one...
did you come inside? Because I
Yeah.
don't remember it.
I don't
Do you
recall.
remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember a couple weeks
Precisely.
ago? You were in the garage. I came in here and I sat right here on this chair.
So that's the explanation. Okay, so even you can agree that's the explanation
No,
for all ghost stories.
Listen, I agree that there could be a all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying I know for 100% sure that there was a ghost there. What I'm saying is
I am 100% certain there are no ghosts.
The event that happened was so weird that my mind first went to got to be a ghost.
Do you have any idea? Okay, look. I want to show you guys something really cool.
Have you ever, I don't know why it made me think of this, but have you ever seen this study that they did on people where they did this test and one night they gave these people, what the heck? They gave these people, they told them like they were going to take them out to a bar and do something. They were just going to have fun and they were going to give them alcohol, all that stuff, and then just let them see how they interact with each other. And the study was to say, like, how do you communicate with other people? How do you interact with all of them?
Why do you keep doing that?
And so these people think that they're going to be given alcohol and then they're just going to see how they communicate with each other. But what they were really doing, what their study was really about, since they couldn't tell these people, was they were giving them fake alcohol.
Placebo?
Yeah.
It's called the placebo
and just
effect.
to see how these people acted. Like,
Yeah.
would these people think that they're drinking alcohol, actually start acting drunk? And they did. Not all of them, but like a couple of people were actually starting to act. And they were saying that it's like it's a memory in your brain.
Yeah, it's called the placebo effect.
Right.
It's your mind tricking you into thinking that... Effectively, the placebo effect has more to do with clinical trials in medicines versus, what you're saying, people thinking that they're drunk. But rather, all it is you give one person the actual medicine, you give the other person a placebo, a sugar pill.
And if they say they're fine, then they were lying. Or, something like that. But that's the way this was. They were saying, like, they were trying to figure out the human mind. They were saying that these people weren't actually pretending to be drunk. Like, they weren't going...
Oh, that their mind had actually convinced them that they were drunk.
Right, because this is what it was.
That's interesting.
They're saying, your brain is so smart that it takes memories of you
I don't think so
having...
at all.
It takes memories of you having been
I
drunk
think
at
that
one
they're
point.
just in the moment drinking, expecting to get drunk, that they start acting themselves like they're to be drunk. It's like...
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
no, I think that there is an effect
involuntarily they just start acting that way because they want to.
Like,
I don't
okay,
think
if you
so. I
think
think
about what you act like when you're
I
drunk.
think that your brain is powerful enough to convince you that you're drunk, even though you're not.
Right.
When you absolutely believe that you are drunk, like
No, I think you just want to act drunk because you.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's your mind. It's the whole idea. It's it's completely contradictory to what you just said before. what I was saying before that you agreed with was that my mind had convinced me that that car had disappeared.
That I agreed with? I didn't agree with anything.
You agreed with me when I said that I thought that my mind had convinced me that the car had disappeared, but there was a perfectly rational
You're
explanation.
talking to her, not me.
I know, but for the love of Christ.
But I do believe that the brain. They said this is what they said that the scientists, the doctors, whatever, were saying that people take memories of having been drunk before and start applying them before they're actually necessary. Like, so these people start going, I know how I act when I have one. I know how I act when I start having two.
But they actually start behaving in that way.
Right. And it was such an interesting thing to watch because some of these people were acting foolish and they
Completely
hadn't been
drunk.
given
Any
any alcohol.
I wonder how you can convince somebody that they've had alcohol that they haven't. That's more interesting to me because if you give me a beer with no alcohol in it,
I'm gonna know.
Almost certain I can tell you the difference between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But some people, though, I don't know if they have like that. I don't know what near beer or that kind of stuff tastes like, but if it tastes anything like beer,
O'Doul's.
something, I have no idea. I've never drank that shit. But
Yeah, non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
but if it tastes like beer, like
It's bullshit. You still got to be 21 to buy that.
Do you really? Maybe there's some alcohol in
You have
it.
to be. It's like
So then what's the point?
Like 0.1% alcohol in it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Stupid.
Yeah, you can't buy the 1% alcohol in that beer you were just saying. But if you're not 21, but can't you go to the store and buy NyQuil if you're not 21, or rubbing alcohol, or mouthwash, or anything else? I mean,
It's true.
all those
And
things
Look,
they contain alcohol?
I used to work at Kroger's through
The overnight,
overnights,
yeah.
and bums would come in.
I
and
remember
they will
you.
buy mouthwash
I remember you telling me that
to drink it.
they would actually come in.
They'll drink the whole. I've seen them do it.
You watched a
They
guy drink mouthwash
That shit.
and
They
enjoyed it.
Drink it. I don't.
I guess it's not
even
about
for-
whether
it's
he
not
enjoyed it
for
or not.
enjoyment.
It's not like he's going.
He's not
Oh
doing
look,
it
this
yeah.
this
I want to feel good for it.
no. This mouthwash has a lovely bouquet. Like he's putting it in the glass and sniffing it. Before he drinks it.
It's just fucking. It's total dependency upon.
This one smells like paradise.
Yeah.
And you can taste the lovely blooms in this one.
Lord have mercy.
Oh my God! People drink mouthwash. That's ridiculous.
It's awful.
What else do they drink? NyQuil. Right? I've heard people drink NyQuil to get drunk.
I used to take cough medicine.
Well, that's what
We used
NyQuil
to call it
is.
triple C's.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
take like 8 of them. And that stuff will mess you up.
Good night, huh?
No, you.
That's not good though.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was middle school shit.
The Kenny and Dylan podcast does not advocate doing over-the-counter or
No.
abusing over-the-counter drugs.
No, don't ever go buy Corseed and cold and cough.
Don't tell them what it is. Jesus Christ, man. You know better than that. It's going to be a middle school kid listening to this podcast.
And don't take 8 of them at once.
Yeah, don't tell them the dosage either. What's the matter with you? You're not telling them not to do it. You're giving them instructions on how to do it. What's the matter with you? He's saying like if you didn't want somebody to hammer a nail into a board, he goes, do not go buy a carpenter's framing hammer, 22-ounce East Wing from Home Depot. It cost $19.99. And don't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's a warning label.
And do not go to Home Depot and purchase a 2x4 white pine, 2 inches by 4 inches by 8 feet long, that costs $2.99. And also, do not go to the hardware aisle in Home Depot and purchase a 16-penny nail. You can buy a box of them for $1.47. Do not buy all of those 3 things from Home Depot, and do not take them to your house. Lay the board on the ground, stand the nail up, and hammer the.
You've drugged this out way too far.
Aren't you telling them not? You just did the exact same thing Dylan just did.
But the example that I'm giving is hammering a nail into a board.
As to where I'm
Dylan
talking
was
about
explaining how to get high on over-the-counter medication.
Dylan, No.
Yes. That's what I said.
Well.
And I used to eat something every time. But I used
No,
to,
you didn't eat anything.
Before I ate all of them.
What?
No, don't say what you're.
Well, he's
You
sick.
two are incorrigible.
I
Well,
can just
look,
remember that they taste
because
awful
I'm
too.
upset.
The
I'm
only thing that
upset.
helps is Sprite. For
All
the
right.
taste.
All right. It's about enough out of you.
Where's the timeout corner
Somebody
here?
turn his mic off, please.
Where's the timeout corner? We have to have one. Because Dylan needs one right now.
You know what I need? I need a dump button.
We used to take those things.
Dump button?
We'd ride our,
What does
we'd
that
ride
mean?
our bicycles.
Where
and
like
it'd feel like
if
you were
inappropriate
flying down
content
the
makes it
street.
onto the show, like if this were a live broadcast, and inappropriate content, like let's say this is a radio station, and we say fuck, or your guest accidentally says fuck, well you'd want to be able to dump that content before it made it onto.
Oh yeah.
So they have a dump button, and it's a 7-second delay button. They hit the button, and it erases 7 seconds of the history of the show, the last 7 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And then it just picks back up from that point. So we need a dump button on this show, so when Dylan tries to talk about.
So you can dump this?
You're going to have to edit that part out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to, put chickens or something over his voice.
All right, man. Well, I think we're about done for the day. Dylan's farting into the microphones. So.
That's our cue.
Yeah, we're going to call this a day. I'd like to remind you guys, y'all can send us an email at kennethanddylanshow@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at Kenneth Gonzalez.
And
you
if
can
you want to
find
contact me, you can find me on Christina M. Brown on Twitter. Go look me up on Facebook, Christina Brown. I'm the awesome chick in the picture.
Do that shit.
So.
And Dylan does not exist on the internet.
Dylan doesn't want you to know. Don't fucking annoy him.
Yeah.
Just don't
Dude,
do that.
Please, everybody listening, please go bother the shit out of Dylan because he so doesn't want it. I want you guys to search out. Listen, I'm not going to give out his Twitter handle.
If you
contact
contact
me,
me,
I'm not gonna read anything
if
you
you
say on it
contact
anyway.
me, I'll just forward it all to him.
I'm not going to give out Dylan Lake's Twitter handle. I'm not going to, because Dylan Lake is not
Born in
putting
the year
his,
92.
He's not putting out his Twitter handle. And Dylan Lake 92 at rocketmail.com does not want to be contacted by you people.
It's
guys
not
just
even my email.
That's not it?
No, that's wrong.
That'd have been pretty funny if it was.
That's close.
But Dylan Lake
I got 2 emails.
Who was
You
born
got-
in 80
you,
or
like, put 'em
92.
does
together.
not want you to contact him on Facebook, and Dylan Lake does not want you to contact him on Twitter.
No, leave me alone.
But keep listening, though.
I'll
Yeah.
fucking block you.
And that's the end of our show. Donk! I don't think that's being picked up, bro.
Wasn't it a song on the screen?